I'm still lower. Huh? It's master fences.
You just opened the bottle weird.
Yeah, you know, it's because I don't like the because it's like psst, and then it's like the pressure. It's all weird. I like the Lucozade one.
What, Lucozade Sport?
Lucozade Squeezy. The way that one works is good because it's not loud.
A little suction cup.
Yeah, but this one is just.
I've never been a fan of Lucozade Sport.
I don't like the drink, but I like the bottle.
Always hated it.
It used to be nice back there.
Man, it was never good. Because I used to sell the fizzy Lucozade in school, innit?
Yeah, that's better.
And other people used to sell the Lucozade, and I always hated it. Always.
I used to bang out.
Lucozade Orange was the best.
I got a stop.
Sugar Tax, it was the best.
I got
It was the best. Like, undefeated. Yeah.
Original? What? The unflavored?
No, orange.
I'm about to say that's
original was dead.
Yeah.
The original and orange is basically the same flavor. It's just orange.
Orange was
that drink. You buy that by mistake, or if you're, I don't know, you're mad. I think people that buy that one, they must know
Lucozade
something.
Orange.
They're probably wife beaters. They're drinking it. But it's like I feel like you're mad if you drink that drink.
Because it was so dead. It was so dead.
To go into the drink and pick that drink.
Since the sugar tax, there's nothing good to drink anymore anyway, so that's why I stopped to
Pepsi Max Cherry, innit? That's the only one that survived.
And then you don't drink any like for a while. Then you come back to it, it's like fine.
Nah.
What was it? Do you remember how it tasted before the show?
My memories are still strong.
I do. Sun Exotic, Tropical, KA, Caribbean, Fam.
KA was the biggest. KA was the most sad. KA was the saddest one. Pineapple used
ruined
them.
it.
Bang.
Ruined. I like the original. The original was
What's the original
Caribbean Cola. That was the best one for me. That was for me. That
he's
was
the only
best
person.
one.
He's the only person in London that bought that drink.
Was the best.
The blue one.
The original was fam. The original was for me. It was the best one. They were all nice.
I'm surrounded by the tourists.
They were all nice, but the original was the best.
What?
Yeah.
Nah, it was pineapple, then black cherry.
Black grape.
Yeah, sorry. And even fruit punch banged.
All of them banged.
Like, yeah.
All of them banged, but they ruined everything, man.
Even when it was 49p, it was still right.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't mind.
All of them banged. Even they had the steel cartons as well.
I didn't love it. I liked them.
As well.
I liked them. I think that one I only liked black grape.
I didn't like
I only liked black grape for
Black grape was the only one that was good in still.
Still.
Yes. Yeah.
Nah, that was sugar tax was rude.
Ruined everything, bro.
I didn't really like that.
Nah, I was dead. Nah, dead.
What is that? No. What the purple one?
Dead.
No, that green one.
Yeah.
I hate that drink so much, and everyone in my family likes it.
It was nice.
My mum likes I just don't like pineapple and coconut.
Dead.
Any drink with coconut in, I don't like. But
nah, man, dead. It's all dead now.
Do we need to get him on the mic?
Huh?
By the way, do we need to get him on the mic?
It's a little intro.
He's gonna be flapping his gums over here. Produce. Nah, this has to go in though. Yeah, I got a story.
100%.
About Lucozade. It's Lucozade related, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, obviously, in my younger days, I was a bit more sizable, as you remember.
Robust.
I had more fortitude. I was more solid on the ground. And basically, so like it was about Lucozade, the still one. There was like, the cheap version, the isotonic sport. Do you remember that drink? I think they still make
the 25p
the 25p or 50p. Or I think the bottle one, the still one was 45p or 50p. No, it wasn't a can. The still one in a bottle, 500 ml. Yeah, and there was like is it Euro Shopper? Like the cheap, and then they had like a sports drink like Lucozade, 45p or 35p even. Cherry, it went up to 45p. And yeah, it's sad that I know this, innit? So we know what kind of man I was, innit? And then his parents' evening, innit? And I think it was 8 or 9. I used to hate my tutor, man. I hated all my teachers and they hated me, but staying school kids. And I'm there with my mum, and like it's like the end of parents' evening roundup. So he's just talking to me and my tutor. It's not all my subject teachers. And he was like, and before you go, and you're thinking, I've got away with it, because my mum never used to come to parents' evening. I used to make sure my dad came, hide the letters, everything. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I've survived this one. And he's like, before you go, I was on something I wanted to mention. And he was like, this day called me a Nigerian name. So he was like, Dale, can you open your bag? I was like, what? My mum was like, what's in your bag? So he's like, can you open my bag? I was like, okay, yeah. Open my bag, and he was like, he pulled out the drink, and he was like, this is something I wanted to talk about. He's constantly drinking sugary drinks, and I'm just worried that his weight is spiraling out of control. I was so my mum doesn't know that I do this, innit?
Yeah.
And she doesn't know that I sell. Oh, she know? No, she knows I sold it, but she's like, I know Nigerians. There's the one thing like you'll be fast in it, like all of that stuff.
Raw.
The pressure I was under the whole way, man,
That
just
is
and
myth.
and the man in my behind me, you know, and obviously you know his
that
techie is.
long.
I did
That
not
is
I did
long.
not live that down for time.
That is long.
Yeah, man.
You know, you just did that as well for just for the sake
no,
of it.
we didn't. That's what I mean. He was on to me. Yeah, he
last ching in the back. Just
yeah.
quick.
Literally, he was like, "I'm gonna let you survive." I turned around, he stabbed me in the back.
Rotted.
Yeah, man. My mum had me on water for time. No more Ribena. You know, she went to the shop when we got home. Ribena, all of that.
Yeah.
She poured it. She was
Threw
like,
in the
"Nah."
bin.
She know she hide it. Vim to. Yeah, lasted 2 weeks. I was back. But anyway,
Wait. Yeah, man.
back
Sound
in.
of the
Let's
people.
get it properly.
Welcome back to Jollof after Jummah. This is episode 52. Yeah, it's just me and AbdulRahman today. By choice, by the way. Did this by choice.
Yeah, they'll think that no one cancelled on us.
No one cancelled us here. This is by choice. If you are new here, Assalamu alaikum. We hope you can retain your viewership. If you are not new here, thank you for returning. Hold the Bluetooth spud.
Don't know.
Yeah. I've had an interesting 2 weeks
That's good.
since we last recorded, man.
That's good. Content in it.
Fam.
I'm joking.
I caught this stupid flu again.
Yeah, because the way you're coughing.
I just had it. I just had it. I caught this stupid flu again. I got ran off the road by some van. I'll get it, fam. I got ran off the road by some van like last week. And a couple of days after, I hit a dog with my car. Let me not say hit a dog. I bumped into a dog.
Oh, that's so sad.
Let's say I bumped. Let me not say hit.
That's not funny at all. That's so sad. I hope he's alright.
Yeah, I bumped into a dog. Fam, bumped into a dog. I had a very, very triggering experience at work yesterday.
Oh, I might be able to bounce off that one actually.
To
Yeah,
top
go
it
on.
off, my club is in free fall. Yeah.
I think, remember what Taufik said about the 5-minute football segment? We might have to,
Yeah, fam.
might have to just drop that on the side.
Maybe we'll get into it today.
Clip
but
it to
yeah,
the end, or
my
might have to put
club's
that on
in
the
free
end.
fall.
Yeah, anyway.
But yeah, let's go back.
Where do we start? Like,
Yes, fam. We'll start.
let's do chronologically.
We'll do chronological. We'll
Yeah,
start
go on.
from this van that ran me off the road. I'm going to work in the morning. You know when you come out of Rotherham, and then you can, if you're coming from South, and then you can turn left to go East London Mosque, or you can turn right to go back A13.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work. I've turned right. As I've come out of Rotherham Tunnel, sometimes you get a traffic light, and then there's another slip road where they can join onto the road as well.
Yes.
So this big van has come out of the slip road and he looks confused. It looks like he doesn't know where he's going. First, it looks like he's going to bang a Yui, but then he keeps going straight. And then someone behind him has beeps him in it. So he's gone now. I've come out behind him and then we've both turned right. But because I can see that this guy's moving mad, I want to get him behind me as quick as possible. So he's in the right lane. I've now moved into the left lane to try and now speed past him. As I'm trying to get past him now, there's a road on my left. And before I've got to him, without even indicating, this guy's just swerved into my lane and literally ran me off the road.
So you had to swerve right as
I
well.
had to swerve as well. Literally ran me off the road.
Wait. So where did you go? Was you on the far right then?
I was on the left lane. So he's in the right lane. He swerved left without indicating,
left.
just swerved in front of me. And literally, so say this is his van. I'm about here next to him and he's just swerved and I've had to swerve as well. Luckily, because I've swerved in time, he hasn't hit my car. But I'm now in the side road and he's just driven off. He's just gone. He's now gone to traffic light. I've caught up to him in the traffic light, jumped out of my car. Like, what are you doing?
To say salam alaikum.
Sorry,
Yeah,
mate. Sorry, mate. I'm a bit lost. Brother, you've ran me off the road. What are you talking about? You're a bit lost. Sorry.
Was he
You
like local?
ran me off the road.
Did he come across like he was local?
I don't know.
Or was he like new to London or something?
I don't know.
Madness. Anyway,
But that was that.
alhamdulillah, you're okay anyway.
Fam.
That's the end of the story. You tell me what you really did to
We'll
him
say-
after this podcast.
Then this dog that I now bumped into.
Sad story. Yeah.
I was driving Missy to work in the morning. we've now
driving her to work.
Yeah, because I have my day off on Wednesday in it, so she doesn't really like driving in it, so took it to work in it. So yeah, we've now turned left into this road, and there's like a field on one side, and then there's like an entrance to a park on the other side. So as I'm approaching this, as I'm driving, this dog has just run across the road in front, but it's a little bit further ahead, so I've seen it. We've both seen it. Just, I don't know.
Big one, small one?
Big dog. But it looks just lawless. Like the owner is nowhere in sight. So it's just ran across the road carefully like a fox.
Is that a puppy?
No, like a big dog.
But is it that? You know how some dogs are big, so even though they're puppies, they're...
I don't know, man. I have no clue. To me, they're all just dogs. So it's just ran literally like a fox. Just ran across the road into this park. And as I've now approached the park entrance now, it's run back in front of me, and I've touched it, but I've had to stop, and it's run into this field, and it's just stopped, and it's just but the owner is nowhere in sight, so it's almost like this dog has just escaped captivity and it's gone on a joyride.
I link it to something else. Yeah, it's another story. Well, basically, yeah, my mum when she first came to this country, so anyway, maybe it'll come full circle. My mum when she first came to this country, obviously she married my dad and all that. And my dad, this is before especially before he was practicing properly. So this is when he was maybe 25 or something, or 20s, and he used to have a dog in it.
Oh
yeah, back day. Like my dad, yeah. So maybe one day when he comes, and he had a dog in it, and my mum's a younger than us, come from Nigeria. You can imagine them and dogs. And my mum's a scaredy cat, innit?
Yeah.
And then they're small, probably like little council flat or whatever, one, and there's a massive dog in the house, innit?
Yeah.
And she used to say actually she hates this dog. She hates this dog. She used to beg him, please come and get rid of this dog. Please, just I don't like it. She imagine she when he would go to work, for example, she would live in fear. She would maybe keep the dog in the balcony or something, and she couldn't. If the dog's in the kitchen, the kitchen belongs to the dog, innit? So she can't. So anyway, my dad goes to Nigeria, innit? Do you know what my mum did? She said, when he went to Nigeria, I just opened the door and I closed the door.
Are you being serious?
She released it like Pokemon, fam.
What?
And 20 years later, he saw Ibs on the road.
What? Are you being serious?
Yeah. She just released it, fam.
Bruh, she released the dog.
And then when my dad came back, I couldn't remember what she said. Wait, did she tell the truth? Yeah, she said, when my dad came back, she said, well, you think I was going to live with the dog alone for 2 years? Where did you put it? I don't know, it's gone in it.
That is unbelievable. RSPCA though. Sorry.
Obviously, laws were different then, I hope.
Right.
Yeah. No, but honestly, animal cruelty is wrong. We don't condone that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't condone it. It's dogs.
I don't condone it either. But yeah, that was that. Just, like I said, it looks like the owner was nowhere inside, and it was just in the field, and then we just drove off. Someone took ownership of. I don't know, but we just left it. Moving on to this experience I had at work yesterday. So on Saturdays I do home visits, innit?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in this old lady's house. I'm doing I've done what I need to do. I've done my hearing test. I've done ear molds, whatever. I'm now packing up to leave now. She's on the road. I'm now packing up to leave now. And as I'm packing up to leave, this old couple have come to the door, and where I was sitting is literally the window is right next to me. So this old couple have come to the door. The woman's come first, and she's looked at me and seen me, and you can just see in her face, it's like there's sheer horror in her face as, what's this guy doing here in her house? What's he doing here? I've waved at her now. She didn't respond. She's now come in the house. I've said hello to her. She's aired me. Didn't even look at me. Looked straight at this woman. Oh, are you okay? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you okay? When I tell you I was fuming. When I tell you I was absolutely fuming.
What type of house is this? Is this was it like a shared accommodation or?
No, it's just, she lives alone, innit?
So you went to visit the woman you went to visit.
Yeah.
So who's this woman? Other woman?
She's a patient. Maybe the other woman is
the
like
one that's saying
a neighbor or relative. or relative, I don't know. They went to do shopping for her, innit? Because she's housebound. I go out to see patients that are housebound, innit?
Okay.
So she knows her from somewhere.
Okay.
It was just that proper pissed me off. Because it's like, hold on. Let's break this down a little bit. You've come to the window, yeah. You've seen me. I'm wearing a mask. I'm wearing gloves. I've clearly got some form of medical equipment in front of me. I'm not sitting in front of a box of knives. Do you know what I mean? So I'm doing something that's going to help her. But it's like, you've seen me and you've made a snap judgment. You've instantly made up your mind that I'm here. I must be doing something sinister. You obviously made up your mind.
Why'd you wear your mask before you get in the house though? I'm not gonna lie, that's a bit booky still.
Is it? A face mask? What do you mean?
When you're outside?
Yeah.
If you're working medical.
Before you gone into the house?
Yes.
Not even a young like, hello.
No, but that, even if she didn't, she at no point did she see me.
At the door, just be like,
No. At no point did she see me walking into the house though. When she got there, I was already there. I was packing
you
up.
was in the house?
I was in the house.
Oh, okay.
I was sitting in the house. She saw me through the window.
Okay.
She saw me through the window and then she came and said, are you okay? Are you sure? Are you okay?
Is your mother okay?
And it's like, fam, like why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? It's not like, and it just annoyed me so much because it's like, even when you're trying to help people,
yeah,
someone's always going to assume the worst of you.
Yeah.
And I can sit here and I can say you did it because of this and you did it because of that, but I'm never going to know the real reason. So it's just an assumption at the end of the day. But I know why you did what you did and you know why you did what you did as well. And even then, even after the woman has told her like, yeah, it's fine, he's doing my ears. No, she didn't pay me any mind. She just walked past me, didn't say anything.
What do you think the ideal thing to do in that situation is?
Boy, everything in my being wanted to just stick it on her, innit? But I was like, let me just leave it.
What's the most productive thing to do?
I was fuming. Because do you think I want to be here at 10 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday morning in some old lady? Do you think I want to be here?
How old is this person?
The one that
came in. Racist,
I don't know, she's like in her 70s or 80s. She's an old lady, innit? She's an old lady, innit?
That's the thing, man.
people like that are stuck in there.
It was so annoying, man. And if you saw her face when she saw me, like the sheer horror in her face.
Did you have a trim?
Look at this guy. But yeah, bruv,
I don't know. The thing is, it's
proper triggering.
Yeah.
Proper triggering.
What's that book? I haven't read it, but was it Why I No Longer Talk to White People?
My wife has that book. Yeah, she's been telling me to read it for a while.
It's like, what? It's like a treadmill that's going too fast that you could yeah. What's the point? Because
yeah, like
you can even try like.
There's no point in having like you ask like what's the ideal thing to do in that situation. I think what I did is the best thing because what are we going to talk about that's going to solve your probably decades of prejudice you have towards people.
Ingrained.
Yeah, it will only make it worse. Yeah,
you'll just get more frustrated. Yeah. It's sad, man.
I had to like thank God that I was actually just packing up to leave because if not, I was fuming. I was actually fuming. I was
watching a show, and it was basically they're not doing it directly, or maybe it's because I didn't get to that point. I stopped watching or whatever. Yeah, but I think what they were trying to do is they were explaining the you know how like we have the classic problem. You know how there's a lot of people that are very ignorant and probably don't have direct intention to cause malice in their heart, but it's still very damaging. The casual racism, that type of which is probably what most of the racism that we suffer probably is in this country, especially in this country anyway.
Something happened exactly what you're saying the week before that. I'll explain after gone.
Cool. And basically, the story, the setup of what happened in the actual show was essentially that what happened before? Yeah, so there's two things. There's two aspects to it. So there's a guy. His daughter has a Muslim boyfriend. We won't go into the nonsense of that anyway. But anyway, has a Muslim. So he's white. His daughter, and the boy. Also, she's very supportive of what the boy is trying to do, and in his new faith, because he's a revert. He's white as well, but he's a revert.
Oh, okay.
And she's very supportive of it, and blah blah blah. But obviously, with him comes he's suffered racial kind of attacks, and he doesn't like the fact that it's like he just finds it weird. So he basically he says stuff like you know, oh, he's found peace in his religions, or couldn't he find peace with the Church of England? He's kind of blames the guy for the increased risk that she suffers because she's going out with a Muslim. So if he gets abused, you know, she's next to him, he could get attacked. Oh, so he's been attacked before. Oh, you shouldn't be with him because he's been attacked before, that type of thing. And then the last of which is that he was with a with a woman. So this is the main thing anyway that I want to talk about. It's not even he was with an Asian woman, and then he was basically winding her up or whatever, and he said, "Oh, you people are all the same." But when you watch it anyway, you can see genuinely he's not being racist. What he actually means is, or actually, I guess maybe they left it ambiguous on purpose. But I guess based on his character, because you can tell he's just, you know, hardworking, decent man. He doesn't go out to harm anyone or abuse anyone or whatever. What he meant was, and this girl was like very much doing nonsense and she's in the wrong. The girl that he's talking to is in the wrong. She's an Asian girl, innit? And he says, oh, I meant young people, you know, they go around acting like they run the world. But obviously to her, she's heard you people all the same, and she's banged out and gone mad at him. And and after that, from then, she's told people, everyone's calling him, oh, you bigot, racist. Like everyone's starting to turn on him, they hate him. He's lost his job because it was when he was working. It was a cab kind of thing, cab transaction. He's a cabbie, and the girl didn't pay him because of that. When he went to tell his boss, his boss went to go angry at the girl, and she said, "Oh, this is what your guy said to me." So she went back to him and said, "You didn't tell me that," and she sacked him. So he's lost his job, and he's lost his job. He's kind of like a pariah, or everyone's saying like, you know, he's a bigot, racist. His daughter doesn't really rate him anymore. His daughter's going out with some Muslim guy. So this Asian girl got him sacked. So when you put it all together, I guess can you see what they're trying to do? They're kind of trying to show both sides of it. And I found it, obviously I have no sympathy for any of these people. But the one thing I do have sympathy for, or not sympathy for, but I do acknowledge is, and it's because we have it in ourselves as well, we can see it, that there's certain things that are just by diffusion. And I don't expect people, it is still a problem because you shouldn't be racist. And if you're racist and you see that and you've notified any racist tendencies and stuff, it's your job to try and fix it. But I do see when there's no benefit to doing something, why people don't do something. So when there's no benefit to educating yourself, for example, I don't expect people to do things that don't benefit them. So even with what you just said about people identifying racial tendencies, they probably won't even identify that they're racial tendencies. Because it's just so he said that let's assume the best, with no malice intentions in terms of being racist. It's been taken as racist, but he can't really understand it, and because of that, he's lost his job, and he's seen as a. This is what I was about to say. Like this other patient, I went to see and if there was no Asians or black people or whatever, he wouldn't have to deal with that problem. So he doesn't believe he's racist, but because he's been seen as racist, it's made his life worse. Ignorance is bliss, innit? And the problem is that if these people weren't here in such mass, this is what he will say. He might say, then I wouldn't negatively suffer because I'm not racist anyway. But it's just that I can't talk freely because I can't say things how I want to say. And I can not sympathize with it, but I can understand, because when we talk about I don't want to sound like I sympathize in it. I don't want to sound like Uncle Tom. So I need to be careful with what I'm saying. But when I think about, you know, when we start talking about, you know, we can't say certain things, you know, to do with certain people, certain groups of people, because actually no, but the difference is I fundamentally openly disagree with a lot of these things, whereas they will claim that they don't. Actually, no, I guess it's not the same. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, because I fundamentally disagree with a lot of the things of these groups of people. I do get what you're saying. Maybe not, I don't hate the people, but I can't say anything, whereas they will claim that they have no issue, but still say stupid things. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I guess that's why there's no excuse. Not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah, sorry, I tried white people.
The casual racism, they won't even understand that it's casual racism. Yeah, I saw this patient like 2 weeks ago,
which is a bigger problem. It's more dangerous. Yeah,
it's 100%. It's more dangerous. I came in the room. The room was a little bit dim, and she asked me if I wanted to. I was seeing her husband and his wife was there. She asked me if I wanted to turn the lights on, and I was like, no, it's fine. She asked me that question like twice. The first time she now asked, she was like, oh, are you sure you don't want to turn on the lights? And then she was like, and then she goes, I can't see you otherwise. And then she laughed. And I didn't say anything, but I looked at her and I was like, you really think that's okay to say?
She needs to get a slap.
And I was like, you really think that that's okay?
That's a slappable offence, you know.
On top of that, no one in the room raised eyebrows at that. No one, because I purposely looked at them. See, no one reacted. No one raised their eyes at that.
What was the setting of this?
It was me, the patient I was seeing, her husband, his wife, and the daughter.
How old is the daughter?
In her 30s.
She didn't say, "Mum, you can't say that." Because that's what I expect.
Nobody reacted. No one reacted. And I was like, you lot really think that's okay? You all, and I actually laughed. I didn't laugh. I laughed to myself. I mean, I didn't laugh out in the open. I laughed because I was like, you lot really think that that's fine? Like, none of you see a problem with that. But yeah, man, boy, it's wild. It's actually wild. It's actually wild.
It's all mad, man. It's all mad in the dunya, fam. Boy, where do we go from there?
Boy.
That is a madness.
It's
and do you know what's mad? Do you know what's actually mad? Do you know what's mad? That of all the things you said, that was not even the forefront. That was not even at the forefront of your mind. It shows the normality of. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
Let's
racismo.
Yeah, racismo. Let's move on a slight bit to a occurrence that happened. This is I guess it's a little something that reflects on the Muslim community that we're in and how society and the way that the society that we live in nowadays has infected our own community. So basically, there's a bit of context to it. So I've heard
sounds heavy.
Yeah, I've heard of this story, and it's happened at work, and I've heard it a couple of times, innit? But it started off is me talking to one of the bros, mentioning that at where I am, I need to say this, I need to encrypt this a bit, but I've noticed that I'm around in let's say work, for example, a lot of Muslim people that are young. Like the majority of, so basically, I don't have to encrypt this bit. I work with a lot of Muslim people, like in my space, like department, for example, and a lot of them are young people. The majority of the Muslims. So I'm probably one of the oldest, if you get what I mean. And within it, there's a lot of issues that we face as Muslims at work that I feel like we'd benefit from uniting or having some sort of united front against. For example, things like, you know, your classic, or when it comes to, if all the Muslims tried to book Eid off, there's not enough space in the calendar for every Muslim to have annual leave. Stuff like that. Where if the Muslims were a bit, you know, united, or they had some support, especially the kind of junior staff, you know, lower down type staff, that type of thing, they might get benefit from having support from Muslim people more higher up in the food chain, in quote unquote. I mentioned, I was talking about this with one of my colleagues, isn't it, that, you know, that the Muslims are, you know, we should all kind of be together, whatever. And then Mum was like, oh yeah, I can imagine that be like banging, but from what I've heard similar things like try to happen. For example, and I heard a couple of stories in it. So the first story, and what he was saying essentially is Muslims uniting together nowadays in London or in England or whatever, there's an issue because, and I guess you get it in unis as well, that there will be more trouble caused by the Muslims that will mess you up in your whole work or what entirely, because that you'll start being accused of all sorts in terms of, you know, discrimination, singling people out, bullying, all that type of stuff. So a couple of examples, yeah, that I've heard that he gave me, yeah, or that I've heard. One is that he gave me, one that I discussed to him, is that there was one other workplace where they, you know, like Secret Santa. So like, you know, if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's like when you'll be like, you have to give a gift to somebody.
You pick names.
Like there's a group of people, like maybe 15 people, and you pick names out of a hat, and the person you get is who you have to buy a gift for, and you might set like a limit on how much you can spend on the gift, and so that, you know, I guess it's a way to, everyone just gives one present, you save money, and it's a bit fair and it's nice and whatever, you get together, whatever. So Muslims do that, innit? So there's a thing. It was. They call it Secret Sister, innit? Yeah. So obviously it's a sister thing. Man, they doing that. It's funny every time they try. Either then there's no brother inside. Like, but yeah. And this thing caused such a wahala, because obviously, you know, when don't kill me for saying this, but you know when sisters obviously can do stuff, there's a good chance for, you know, bickering and factions and that's often how they are, innit? Yeah. Anyway, man them as well, shatty patties, but yeah, it becomes a bit more, you know, catty when it comes to girls in general, or sisters, or women, or whatever. Yeah, so like, they obviously everyone gives their gifts, and obviously they set a limit, and then one person ends up saying basically, oh, is it because I don't wear a hijab that, you know, you gave me a crap gift, and this person, you know, I mean, and the people that are, you know, hijab wearers are fighting the non-hijab wearers, saying that, oh, they're bullying, they're singling us out, that's why they got us rubbish gifts, and obviously this is just a couple of mad people, but essentially it became a big thing that ends up that the rest of the rest of the kind of people, like the department, wider people are finding out that this is what the Muslim women are doing. They're fighting about, you know, the people, the hijab wearer. Because imagine this so for example, you have Muslims, but you have, you know, same way you have Islam, Iman, Ihsan, there's a spectrum. Everyone's on a different level, and there's people that, you know, are Muslim, or, you know, there's people that are Muslim, but the way they see Islam, or the way they practice Islam or view Islam, is completely different than another Muslim. But the way they may view Islam or take the Islam or practice the Islam may mean that they are able to be very destructive or with no mind, because they're to the other side. They're more closer to the other side, for example. So, you know, they'll be at lunch saying, you wouldn't believe what Shamima and Taslima said to me. How did I say Shamima? And Shamima and Taslima were doing. Do you know what I mean? And it's very damaging, innit? And so he was like, imagine, bro. It's like he painted a picture. So imagine, for example, you wanted to do like halakha, for example. Every month we have we say all the Muslims we'll book this room out, and then we'll, you know, someone maybe will do a reminder. We'll mention any issues, or, you know, you might send any issues that you had at work or whatever. And he was like, so imagine you try to segregate it and someone doesn't like it. You've got discrimination. You've got HR saying you're discriminating. That's against policy. Okay, it's next time. Imagine you say, okay, only the brothers are going to stand up front and speak. Imagine you do a talk on the importance of prayer, and you said that, you know, the people that are I don't know, the punishment for salah, for Muslims that don't go to salah, they'll be in the fire. Bruv,
this is why separation needs to exist, man. Not and separation in the sense that not everything can be in one place at once. You can't do it. This is why when I'm at work, I do not talk about religion. I just don't. But imagine. I think but imagine you say that, yeah. But imagine you can't talk. You say at work, I can't talk about religion. Yeah, that's one level. Imagine at work, you can't even talk about religion to the Muslims. That's basically what he was saying to me. Yeah. He was like, yeah, I'll finish. Oh yeah. So imagine you want to talk about you know, the important, like, we'll do a halakha this week. The importance of the punishment. Or better yet. Better yet, you know, something. The people who don't believe, you know, the people, you know, the people who don't, you know, follow the path, the guidance of the rightly guided Sahaba. And you mentioned Abu Bakr, Umar, Ali, and then Mr. Shia in the corners. Yeah, you're finished. There's so many. It's mad. What I mean, and imagine I can't. We can't. You know, it's a Ahl Sunnah Jummah event only. But then
you're racist.
What I mean by that is I don't think those kind of things should exist in workspaces. It's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. It is unfortunate, but I don't think that they should. Because
why can they exist in a uni and not in a work?
I feel like
because uni production says because uni is more of a living space.
I feel like uni is more structured, and rather than you trying to organize an event, because it's already established. I think you can't make it established. It's already established. It's already established, and you're not forcing anyone to come to that. Whereas, and I'm not saying you're forcing anyone to come to this with this kind of workspace, but because it's not organized, because it's not already established, it's kind of like you're working from scratch with the people, with the pool of people that you already have.
Why can't it be established though?
That means there always has to be Muslims there, and there's not always going to be Muslims there. You can't say that for a fact. There's always going to be Muslims in this space. Can you? for a fact.
Okay, I
You can say that for a
There's
uni.
a chaplain. For like, let's say most hospitals have a chaplaincy service.
Yeah.
And most, or especially in the London ones, will have a.
Okay, so are you
have
talking, so wait, are you
Islamic
talking
lead.
about within your department or within the hospital?
I would. So when I was mentioning it, when we were talking about within the department. However,
You can't do that.
However,
I can't run.
Yeah, I heard that. However, you could, if it's linked to the chaplaincy, for example.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because if it's within like a department, there's too much familiarity already. There's way too much familiarity for you to know. You'll be happy to raise these complaints. You know what I mean? Whereas if it's something I used to work in when I was training,
Yeah, of course.
You go to the prayer room, you go to Jummah, and if you have a problem with what the person at the front is saying, that's your own business. You can't go to HR of the hospital and say, I didn't like what that imam was saying. That's your business, bro. But when it's within a department,
That's happened before. That's actually happened.
It has.
I've seen that happen before. I've heard that happen in 3 different hospitals. That
You're just being silly then.
No, it's that the people weren't happy with that they went to the chaplaincy to complain about the things that the imam was doing. I guess it's not an imam. I don't know. It's not an imam, but the spiritual leader of the Muslims in the workplace.
Non-Muslims are saying this.
No, the Muslims.
I guess we'll have to depend on what the leader was doing then.
Huh?
I mean, it depends what the Amir was doing.
But it's the type of.
But what I'm saying is,
Anyway,
like, in that setting where it's already established, so like for example, the thing you mentioned about segregation. So like if you go to the prayer room in the hospital, it's segregated. If you have a problem with that, that is your own issue. Don't now come and bring that to the masses and say this shouldn't be happening because my level of iman is in such place. Do you know what I mean?
But that's the chaplain. That's why the chaplaincy is there.
Those kind of problems will thrive in a setting where there's too much familiarity and there's space for the lines to be blurred and for the goalposts to be moved because it's not already established. You can move the goalpost. So depending on what you feel, you can say, I don't want this, even if it's not in accordance with
But you know, it's mad. Like the brothers I know at work, for example, and you get this all over the place, essentially have this type of thing already. As in, like, we have a group chat, like all the like. If I'm talking about, I'm bringing this back to myself. The brothers in my workplace, all the acts. There's one brother that particularly united us. He's not there anymore. You know, I know all them. Like, we have a group chat. We do football. We go for meals every so often. We just. I mean, it's just like a brothers only type of situation in it. We don't formalize it, but for example, when I remember 2 years ago, like MCL, like the Monday thing, the brothers from work used to all go together to Medina College on Mondays to the halakha and that. So that it can work, but it's mad that when you try to
open it up,
yeah, and it's more than, I guess, the group of friends.
I feel like that's just the issue.
It's sad, though, isn't it? But it's mad. But it's like, that's the overall thing is that, because I know the way my man when he was just dropping I was like, yeah, it's actually imagine.
Yeah.
But it's just sad. It's a sad state of affairs as Muslims
it's sad.
That. Why? But it's Muslims that will destroy a Muslim thing.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, man.
What does it say about them?
I feel like we can ask what it says about them. I just feel like it also speaks to a bigger issue, and people maybe just placing too much importance on where they are at the time and just remembering that this is not actually our country. This, like, where we are at the moment is not actually what's best for our deen.
Yeah.
Isn't, and it's not actually where we should be. And I feel like because maybe people don't think about that, or they don't take it into consideration on a regular basis, you become so consumed with where you are and the norms of living where you are, and you want to bring that into religion, into other spaces. And yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like stuff like that can exist, but it's just opening it up to that wider community, and that whole thing about things being established from the start. Like, you need to start off on very, very solid footing. So it's like, you can't come in and now be trying to change rules. So like, if you're in a certain place with your iman, not saying that maybe this isn't the right space for you, but if you want to come into this kind of setting, know that this is the way things are done, and don't bring any of that nonsense outside in here. Do you know what I mean? But it's a difficult one. I like I said before, I always move to just not discuss things like politics and religion with colleagues. I just don't do it. I can say obviously I'm fortunate in that sense because I work alone. Most of the time I'm independent. I work alone. So maybe once or twice a week I'll be in the clinic with other people, and even then I'm still working by myself. There's one other Muslim brother that I talk to sometimes, and that's okay because we're in a similar headspace. Do you know what I mean? So we can have these kind of discussions. I have other Muslim colleagues who I know we are not in a similar headspace, so it's not even a conversation. We don't need to talk about it. We'll say salam and that, but we don't have the conversations that I would have with this other brother, because I know it's about, to be honest, it's more about just identifying those people in it and just being observant. I think one thing I've noticed about myself is I'm very, very, very like selective with the people I'll choose to like be my friends. So like I have a very, very small circle of friends. I can say, like, this sounds mad, but throughout the course of uni, the 3 years I was in uni, I can count the amount of friends I made on one hand. And it's not by purpose. I feel like I subconsciously do it, but it's a benefit to me as well. So yeah, it's a benefit to me. I don't purposely say I'm not gonna pick, but I do it subconsciously and it works for me, innit? So yeah, it's just about identifying those people in it. And one thing I've also kind of learned the hard way. We spoke about this before in the episode we did with Ridwan about the NHS and not trusting people. I don't trust people. In the end, it sounds mad, but I do not trust people in the NHS at all. And I had to learn that the hard way. So even the people that I do speak to at work, I'm still very, very wary of them. There's still things I'll say and still things I won't say to certain people. Even if we are kind of like pally, there's still things I have to be careful of. I always have to remember to just protect yourself first and foremost. And yeah. Okay.
No, I was just thinking, just talking on like why, like the whys of it. It goes back to like the importance, like in Bukhari in chapter 1 of the book, or a chapter, knowledge comes before speech and action. And when you look at, the three, Usul al-Thalatha at the beginning, the kind of opening passage, and it mentions, knowledge, that we're obligated to know for matters, knowledge, which means, awareness of Allah, awareness of His Prophet, and awareness of the religion based on evidences. And then second, which is after the first thing, the first fundamental thing, is action in it. And then the third is calling to it, and the fourth is being patient within it. Yeah, being patient, exactly. So the first thing and the fundamental thing for all our actions as Muslims, anything that pertains to Islam and being a Muslim should be knowledge. But people nowadays,
it's not even just Islam. It pertains to everything.
It's true. Yeah. But particularly in Islam, because anyone doing things done with conviction in ignorance, when you look back at history, are very damaging things to do.
How often do people speak without knowing anything these days? How often do people speak without knowing anything? You'll read a headline of a news article and cast your opinion, and that publications, they do it. They pick these headlines to trigger people. And you fall for it every single time. Bruh.
Fam, what was production was saying? That Alhamdulillah, to look at the bright side, like the fact that we work with, or we have Muslim communities. Subhanallah, he's just like what he said was mad. That there's a bigger transgender community than there is a Muslim community in his workplace.
That is so techie.
Technical. That is technical.
I just, as you said, I just like keep to myself. I don't talk religion. I don't talk.
Yeah, you have to.
I don't talk my opinion.
You have to. You can't.
In that place that he is, that location that he is.
To be honest, that actually reminds me. When my mister, she told me she got an email one time at work from one of her colleagues. He sent this email department wide.
Yeah.
Department wide about how gender is a social construct and and we should join him in celebrate by putting their pronouns under their name. And so, you know, like you have your work email, it was like put your pronouns.
Oh yeah, pronoun. Yeah, it was National Pronoun Day.
And for me, yeah, I feel like that is so loaded. Because if that was me, I'm complaining. That is loaded. That's you quite literally forcing your beliefs on me. Mm-hmm. And because you sent it department wide, I can't respond.
Let me change. Let me give you another email.
It's so loaded.
Let me give you another email. I've just attended a dars with my sheikh, and I fear that the ummah is in disarray. Yeah. And please all join me in attending the salah. Salah to Jummah, it's Friday. Because I fear for your souls. You've probably already missed 3 and your hearts may have already been sealed.
Yeah.
Join me, make tawbah, repent to Allah that your sins may be forgiven. Assalamu alaikum. Imagine you said that.
Impossible.
Finished.
Impossible.
Before you press send.
Impossible.
Your P45 is printing out of the printer.
Like that. I remember she was more worried about how to respond to that. For me, I couldn't believe it. Like the audacity, I could not believe it. Because I'm complaining about that because you're quite literally forcing what you believe on me and telling me and like I said, because of the way in which you've done it, that you've sent it department wide, it's like nobody can object. No one can object. And if you do, literally.
No, do you know what my response is? If there's ever a day where they force me, subhanAllah, if they ever force to use pronouns, I'm putting His Royal Highness. Yeah, you have to show them they're mad. That's the only way.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it Isa that was saying in the group chat? Or was it remember that when they were talking about the powerlifting? They were was that there was the parallel that if from when they said that what was it? I think they were comparing the black, the African female runners that they're saying can't compete because they have natural amounts of testosterone, and so they've made them into a new. They said they can't compete with them or something. Yeah. So by that logic,
that's racism in disguise.
Very. So by that logic, when somebody identifies as something else, they have to.
Because exactly the parallel, there was the
I can't remember. I didn't explain it well.
Transgender weightlifter.
Yeah.
There was a transgender weightlifter. He went to go and like Agbaya. He went to go and bully women to go and say he's a womanizer. He wants to go and weightlift, and when he won, you can't complain. You can't complain now that he's won.
You set your own precedent. I feel like I butchered the point, but
Pandora's box. You can't come and complain now because you said that we should inclusivity for everyone. Yeah. So if I now decide that I'd like to be a woman now and I want to go and compete in a women's event with my natural amounts of testosterone, you cannot complain. You cannot complain. You can't.
There must be.
Are there any lines at South Park do not cross?
Yeah, exactly. The South Park has episode for everything. It's mad. What was we even saying?
Oh, tight. Alphabet Gang though. I feel like this episode, we've been attacking them a little bit.
Have we? Have we?
I guess it can be misconstrued in that way. Someone can look at this and say that we're attacking them.
What, the Dave Chappelle thing?
I guess so.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Don't leave me hanging up.
That was even on purpose as well. So exactly, bro. That is funny, fam. Yeah. Okay. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Should we move on? Who's on my attack list? I mean, on my
That was actually next. Unison.
that was in perfect unison. Okay. Cool. It's a couple things. Do we want to do the breakdown thing or do you want to do the scenario thing?
Do the breakdown thing.
The breakdown. Okay, cool.
That was interesting. I feel like a lot of people enjoyed that last episode. No, I know my waist is
I was talking about the breakdown of something else, but go on.
Oh,
But it's true of the
I thought that's what you wanted to break down.
Seerah.
Oh, that's what you wanted to break down.
Yeah, but we'll do it after. We can do it after. Not the breakdown, but the reflections on it. But
Go with what you wanted to do.
No, do the episode. Do the episode.
Oh, to be honest, I feel like you had more maybe conflicting opinions on that. So maybe
No,
not conflicting opinions.
No, it's not even conflicting. Just okay.
Observations,
What have you heard the streets kind of saying of the episode? How have people received it in your opinion? Oh, actually, before you say about Jackal here, to Ustadh Uncle Tawfiq, and whenever you're around him, you just pick up so much gems and benefit. He's a sick guy. He's doing a lot for the community, man. May Allah reward him abundantly and increase him. And shout out Tawfiq as well. May Allah reward him as well. I
think for people that are, I guess, maybe a bit more business and entrepreneurial minded, that was a really good episode for them. They really enjoyed it. I don't know. I think from what we kind of picked up, I guess, in our group chat, there were some. Let me not say. I don't want to say conflicting opinions, but just observations and maybe points that need to be maybe a little bit more clarified. And obviously, people will take things in different ways. So there was the.
It's not the only place I heard that, by the way.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I never heard it, and even in, for example, the group chat, I didn't really ever take it as a negative. I think it was more just a mentioning of the fact that this isn't the one way every Muslim should think every single second.
Exactly. That's exactly what I chose to take from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Although the I guess the example, you can cast a little bit of doubt over it, and there's maybe a little bit of discussion to be had there. But that's what I chose. That's what I chose to take from that.
Yeah.
What he was talking about was the mindset, and that we need to stop being so prohibitive of certain things, and that if there isn't,
are you talking about specifically the example of the sister?
Yeah,
and that? Okay, cool. Yeah.
And like if there isn't a way of doing a certain thing, so like for context, the example that was mentioned was a sister he'd had a conversation with a sister about studying midwifery, and for the training they require sisters to roll up their sleeves, and obviously for women that's part of their aura, so they can't uncover themselves. And I think the example that he mentioned was that if there aren't any Muslim women that are willing to do this to become midwives, when, let's say, your wife or your sister is giving birth to someone, where are the Muslim midwives going to be that are going to look after this person? Because we all know that in the NHS or in the health sector, everyone has some sort of story about how they've been mistreated. So for us, obviously, as a way of kind of getting that to, and we need to kind of maybe put ourselves.
we heard, for example, there's certain sunnah for there's certain things that a man is for example the adhan into the ear of the child and things like that. There's things that it's important for a man to be there, and it's important for the man's presence to be recognized, appreciated, and encouraged, and especially when it comes to Muslims, isn't it, around the birth of their child. So if you're living in a culturally ignorant world where, especially Muslim being black Muslim as well, on top of that, we saw what happened with Abdullah, for example, where it was almost like he was treated like a pariah, like he shouldn't even be there. So the more people we have there in these places to educate, to be as consultants, to educate their colleagues and etc., the more welcoming and comfortable are likely to feel being service users and being workers in these places.
Yeah, so I guess the conversation around that particular example was that does the ends justify the means? Because at the end of the day, a sin is a sin. And I guess maybe hearing that example, someone might say make hijrah, but we're hearing it, and that might not be feasible.
It's one of those things. These type of things are so complex that you're not gonna ever do these type of things just because there's layers. There's hijrah. What constitutes the compulsivity, or what constitutes making You know, you have to go around it when you're going to the word. What constitutes hijrah being compulsory? What constitutes what constitutes it being, you know, better for a Muslim? Because there might be occasion it's better for a Muslim person based on the options that are available to them to be here than the country they came from. What constitutes being you know, for example, the aura. There's an aura, of course there's an aura. But there's gonna be times when it's okay to have your aura exposed if there's a greater harm. You know, the whole Sharia is based on, you know, preservation of life. So if there's a time when you know, if you're so I don't want to get into the ins and outs because, you know, I don't know the evidence and the science of it. But if there's infection control reasons for your aura being uncovered, when if you're reaching into the inside of a woman to try and take a baby out, and your sleeves are there because the husband is there should the husband, but there's so many, and I don't have the knowledge of the exact science and you know the ins and outs in terms of the fiqh regarding these matters to go into it. But what we can agree on is that it's not something that, you know, we was ever gonna fully explain on the like I said, maybe with that particular example there's a conversation to be had around that, but I feel like what the key point to take away from that was just that we need to figure out ways around these things instead of just saying no, you can't do it. We need to figure out ways around it. So like one of the brothers mentioned, is it a case of making these spaces certain things as well, because there's certain things that we don't need to go into delve, you know, the avoidance of the doubtful. You know, there's matters that are clear, there's matters that are unclear, and there's matters that are So there's going to be times when it's not every single doubtful matter that you have to really explore. But then there are times when, for example, the birthing of children, you know, learning key skills, medical skills that, of course, if there's doubt in them, they're worth exploring because it's important for the Muslims. Same as, you know, find anything that's going to uplift the Muslims or better them is a general. If there's doubt relating to it, generally, and this is not a fatwa, but I guess those are the issues where there's more likely to be scope to seek clarity of doubtful matters and actually delve into it, look into it and research rather than just go because it pertains to life and you know, survival and, you know, so that is not a fatwa. I don't want to make that very clear for, you know,
so I guess just to finish off that point, I was like, maybe it's a case of making those spaces a little bit more Muslim friendly, and how we can do that basically, rather than just saying no, we don't need to be in that space at all, because
you don't need to be in healthcare.
I think there is a necessity for people to be there. You can debate me on that, whether you think we can have a conversation about whether you think it's necessary or not. But from what I know and from what I've heard, every black woman, and I'm pretty sure probably every Muslim woman, will have a story of how they might have been mistreated in the NHS. So although those women may have still had their stories and still come out healthy with their child, how many of them didn't? So if there's a choice of having a midwife that is Muslim and one that's non-Muslim, I'm going to take a Muslim midwife every single day of the week. So, yeah.
And kind of scooting on from that wider episode wide. Obviously, you said how, for example, your wife really took a lot of benefit from it. Anyone that's thinking, anyone that's got any type of, you know, entrepreneurial mindset, anyone that's quite career driven, and anyone that's probably just, you know, in a bit of a lull in terms of that side of their life, you know, struggling for work, struggling for whatever. I think it was a very good kick up the backside.
100.
Very, very good. It's one of those things that I feel like I will probably listen to episodes lots of times.
Yeah. So
in my bank.
Like even the point, you know, you made about only 45 grand. Like for some people that might have
shout out the editor for that bit.
But like for some people that might have been triggering, but like that wasn't triggering for me.
Yeah,
because like I know it myself.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it does. I know it myself as well. Like this, like where you decide to lay your head at night, is your decision. That's your decision. There isn't. It's not haram to live nicely in it.
Of course.
So where you decide to put your head at night, where you decide to as your mode of transport is entirely your decision. Don't use the religion as a way of kind of saying we shouldn't be doing this and we shouldn't be doing this because we should be doing this, because there's no reason you can't do the two of them at the same time.
As we saw from the Sahaba.
Yeah, exactly. In the examples that we're given.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely, I would say, a kick up the backside for me to kind of step up more towards the entrepreneurial side than the career side, because yeah.
And also,
shout out my employers if they're watching.
I'm trying to be out.
Yeah.
And another thing is that, and I think, and to be honest, there's two things. I did get one thing from it, because this was an external person or someone I know saying, like, yeah, but I don't think being flashy is that important. And obviously, Uncle was doing flexi flex. Uncle was doing flexi flex, innit? Cool. Obviously, it's yeah. But like, how many times? And I would say this is a bit. Listen again. Like, what was the purpose of all of the things that he was saying? It was about money to essentially fund ibadah. Yeah. Which because that was the end point. Enriching your parents. Making it easier for you to do things, like Umrah and that type of thing. That was with those orphans, masjids, exactly. So like that was the point. That was the point in it. And I guess when you hear flashy, it's easy to forget that, innit? Yeah. And that's why I guess it's good to re-emphasize that point, that is the point of everything. The end point of everything was ibadah. That was the main point, innit? But yeah, so I don't think people missed that. I think people got that. But like, obviously there are, because if someone listens to something in passing, they listen to 5 minutes.
You know what's funny?
I'm busy. I'm busy building lives, man.
You know what's funny? It's kind of like someone might say, and I kind of got a sense of that. That maybe he's gotten a little bit of stick in the past of people saying that he's chasing dunya. I did kind of catch a couple undertones. Did you get what I'm saying? Yeah. That maybe he's gotten a bit of stick from it in the past, but it's kind of like, if you put in the work, so like, for example, imagine someone that is rich now, that is well off now, and you that is chasing money. Who spends more time actually chasing money? The person that's well off, or you, where you are now of your career, who actually spends more time chasing money?
Some rich people, they become addicted to the love of chasing money. But I do take your point.
You get,
I know it. I get what you're saying. The general stuff. Your point. Yeah, exactly.
In general, like, if you were in a position now, if someone dropped £10 million in your bank account now, if you had that now, would you still work today, or how much of that time would you spend?
You'll work to make sure that you don't have to chase anymore. That's exactly. Or you put things in place, which most.
And how much more time would you have to spend seeking knowledge, rather than someone that is literally working paycheck to paycheck to make ends meet? I'm not saying everyone is working to make ends meet, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, I hope you know what I'm trying to say.
And I think, and once again, I'll caveat that like, anyway, if somebody is dedicated their life on the pursuit of knowledge, Dave, not like, Uncle's not going to tell any student inside leave Islamic University to come and start a business. Of course he's not saying, and nor would he ever say that. I can confidently say, of course not. It's the people that are, for example, what I took from that is that if you're using 12 hours a day on dunya, you use that 12 hours better. So that later on you can use 4 hours, and you can use that 8 hours that you have spare. To do about it. That's the way. That's what I took for it. Which is the, I guess, the mindset.
It was good. To be honest, today's Sunday. We actually had another meeting. I actually had another meeting with him. I went to his house on.
You had a what?
Friday. Another meeting with him.
Oh, nice.
So I went to chat to me and my sister went to talk to him on Friday. And one thing that he said that I kind of picked up on, was really good, was like, he said it in the episode as well, but then he said it again on Friday, and that time it really hit home. Me, was like, you need to be clear in your why, in your why you doing this. Why you need to be clear. Like, for example, I'm doing this because I want to pray all 5 of my salah in the masjid. And like, even though that seems light, that's heavy. For me, that's heavy. How many of our salahs do we pray in the masjid, and why do we not pray in the masjid? Is it not because of what we're doing now? Is it not because we're essentially chasing the bag right now? So do it because your end goal is you want to be in the masjid for all 5 years. And that's big. That's big. So yeah, man. Clearing your why.
Yeah, and it should be ibadah related.
Yeah.
because that whole journey will be filled with barakah in that case. But yeah, man, no, it's fam. Even obviously, I don't want to expose man's too much, but like after we finished recording, then he was basically someone was at the door because he was giving dawah for them to revert them to Islam. And I don't know. I'm sure that person, the way uncle is, that person probably took their shahada that night. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like that's if people are confused about that they think it's just PT. One of my voice said that I was a joke, obviously, but this is it's not a joke, man. Moving swiftly on.
Offending with family.
Drippy. Moving swiftly on. Obviously, it's been a while since, I think it's a couple of weeks since we touched on the fact that inshallah we're going to be kind of. No, it's 2 episodes.
Ago, yes.
Okay, so it's not that bad. It's just 1 episode missed. That inshallah we're going to be kind of walking through trying to walk through the seerah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and extracting whatever kind of benefit or conversational points, linking it to today's society or struggles and things that we're going through today, to try and achieve 2 things, which is a bit of a biography of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam through the podcast, kind of chronologically, and also to use the seerah for what it's meant to do, as a inspiration and as a benefit for the Muslims. So on the first episode, obviously, we just kind of touched on the state of Arabia when pre prophethood or pre the birth of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're using the video series given by Ustadh AbdulRahman Hassan, which is going to be linked, inshallah, in the bottom. Yes. So yeah, second episode. What was discussed on it? Remember?
I don't like what you just done. But yeah, she used to think. I watched a couple weeks back. So
that's it.
I know. He mentioned the Prophet. He's talking about the Prophet's lineage.
Yes.
And I can't remember all of the names. I remember one of the main names he spoke about was Muttalib and his nephew.
Yes.
That he brought with him to
back to Saudi Arabia, from Medina.
Yeah, from Medina, Saudi Arabia. So it was mainly about the Prophet's lineage. I've forgotten his name now. Was it what was his nephew's name? I've forgotten now.
His nephew, who Sheba. As in whose nephew? Muttalib's nephew. Muttalib's nephew.
Yeah, I know they started calling him Abdul Muttalib, but that wasn't his actual name.
You mean oh God, I might have to cut this out. You mean Muttalib's nephew? Oh, yes, Sheba. Yeah, Sheba. Yeah.
Sheba.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were saying something else. Yeah, Sheba. Yeah.
So I thought, in terms of kind of what we're relating to today, I thought that was interesting how,
before that, just in terms of just referencing the video, 'cause I think there was an important bit at the beginning of it, which I'll touch on later anyway. But the importance of knowing the names up to the 5.
Yes.
And he was quite obviously in the video he was quite harsh on that. On that. Yeah. What? I was gonna say, what are you gonna tell me that?
Oh, the names. I can maybe do a couple.
It must be 5. It must be 5. I should have brought my cane. Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib
Abdul Manaf.
One more before Hashim
and then Manaf.
Yeah.
And then
Qusay?
Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib ibn Hashim ibn Abdul Manaf ibn Qusay ibn Kilab ibn
is Qusay then Kilab, yeah?
Huh?
Qusay.
So Qusay was after Abdul Manaf, and then Kilab and then Murrah and then
Yeah, up. What is it? There's 9, and then after the 9,
Yes, after this, then,
it's disputed
it's
before
disputed. So I
it's
think, I
marrying.
guess just for context, I think what he was saying was, if we claim to love the Prophet, then we should know his names and his lineage. So
I guess, you know, as well, I feel like that point was more pertinent to like people like Somali
yeah, because they know their
Arabs,
names, innit?
Whereas, and that's another topic. That's the topic
Yeah.
that I wanted to link to. Anyway,
So I guess he was saying we should know the Prophet's lineage and you know the Prophet's name. And I think in the setting he was in there, he maybe was with a lot of Somalis and a lot of Arabs who know their lineage, so they'll know all of their fathers and their forefathers' names. And he was like, if you know your names more than you know the Prophet's Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's names, then it's a problem in it. And that you should, bare minimum, you should know 5 of his names, and then if you know more, then it shows you love the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam more.
which is better.
So that was heavy as well. Yeah.
That's a good reminder. The thing is, I've heard that, I've watched that over the last 5 years. I've probably watched that video like 5-6 times, and that always sticks with me. I always know when it's coming. I'm like, yeah, when he's about to stick it on the mendem. But yeah, so like, also because I cut you off. What was you actually gonna say?
No, this was a very, very small point. I was just because like he came with Sheba, and because they saw Sheba of Muttalib, they started calling him Abdul Muttalib, even though that wasn't his actual name. And that was just I guess kind of maybe relating to society nowadays and how someone can throw mud on your name, and even if it's much, it would just stick.
Yeah,
it would just stick.
Mud sticks.
Yeah, that's just something that's been a thing from the beginning of time, innit? So yeah.
There's a couple. So like, kind of going back a little bit, obviously, just as a bit of chronology. I think a lot of the episode he spoke a bit about Hashim, who was the great grandfather of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and obviously the tribe that he was part of was known as Beni Hashim. So obviously he was a notable figure. The fact that the tribe was named after him.
Just quickly,
go on.
Basically, he originated oxtail buns. Basically, he was the original.
Anyway, we'll get to that. Production now makes sense in a little bit, innit? Wait, we mentioned the oxtail buns on this podcast before, innit? Yeah. So
he used to feed the people that would come for Hajj.
Yes, exactly. So he was a leader amongst the people, and what he was known about, what he was famous for, was the people that used to come and make pilgrimage, obviously, to Mecca, to the Kaaba. He would feed the people with oxtail buns.
Yeah, I can't remember what the Arabic name for it was, but it was basically meat.
That is it?
It begins with tha. Yeah, it begins with tha. I can't remember what the Arabic name for it was. That's what I was trying to remember on the way here.
I can't remember. Yeah.
But he basically meat. He would basically wrap it in bread, and then dip the bread inside the stew of the meat, and that was kind of a food that was loved by Arabs. So literally, kind of the best of their food.
And when he used it, the way they loved it was when he was trying to kind of praise his wife Aisha radiallahu anha. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say that that to the you are like the whatever it's called, the oxtail bun of all the foods.
That's what you are to me, basically.
That's that game. See that game? I have to use that one still. Yeah, man. And one thing that stuck with me was the fact that he said, well, one of the points was that somebody who wants to have power. Part of the being powerful or is giving, or someone a leader, part of it, a leader, and a leader. A characteristic of a leader is that he's somebody that gives, and that is a characteristic of a leader and a characteristic of a good leader. And then I was looking, and obviously that book 48 Laws of Power, which is not a good Islamic source because it does not teach you to be a moral good Muslim. I should say that first of all. But part of it was I wrote two of them down.
So like 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is it? So, where is it?
Rap soon, by the way.
Sorry?
Rap soon, by the way.
What? Rap?
Time.
Oh yeah. Where is it? There's two laws of power that I thought were like very reputation is everything, so guard it. And the second one, people being dependent on you. So it's a recognized fact that, you know, if you're the person that people depend on, and you'll see it soon as well with Abdul Muttalib when it came to being the controller of the Zamzam water, that generally it puts you in an elevated position. Whereas I think when you kind of look at, and I mean still quite quickly, but when you look at today's kind of society and how people are today, maybe men of today, because this is something that we need to reflect on ourselves on, that we kind of want power and we feel like power is being slipped away from us. However, are we becoming more selfish at the same time? And is maybe that a link to why our status, you know, in society and everything is crumbling down? Because generally I feel like as society grows up and society develops and we continue, we generally want to kind of hold on to certain parts of our youth. The fact that, you know, what we have is for ourselves. We don't have people depending on us, and that's seen as a negative thing. However, maybe that's why in society we see our kind of role as men essentially dwindling away. And when you link it to that lineage, as you said, the importance of lineage is so important. In Islam, essentially, what's marriage? One of the reasons why nikah is important: maintaining lineage, maintaining the family state. Why is fornication such a high sin that, you know, in the Hadith of the three things that, you know, you can kill a Muslim for? The three things is murder, is eye for an eye, is the fornicator, the proven fornicator, and the apostate, who doesn't, you know, repent. Why is it? I need to get. I'll put the reference for that hadith, but it's in Imam Nawawi's 40. Why is it that those two things, you know, fornication, which will destroy a lineage because, you know, it will lead to fatherless houses and broken homes, and in nikah to preserve the broken home, why are those things so important? Because it maintains lineage. And what is in our culture, in our society, when we look at, why is gang crime so high? Why are the men doing nothing? Why are the men so useless? Lineage is something that's destroyed. And our people, us black, like for example Nigerians that have come to this country, remember when we were saying Somalis, they know their family. Us that, you know, people that have come and migrated from somewhere else, we don't know our family. You know, is there a link there? I don't know, but maybe
that's another conversation, I guess. I guess he mentioned that point as well about the Prophet's lineage being pure. So everyone from his lineage was born as from a nikah, basically.
And it's something, and he was proud of it.
And even his enemies knew that couldn't say that, they always knew that his lineage was pure. And today, basically, how much zina is rampant. So
I've got a hadith. Abu Hurairah reported Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Learn your lineage to solidify your family ties. Verily, keeping family ties causes love amongst kingship, enriches wealth, and increases lifespan." Families that don't get on, kids killing kids. You know, I mean, like it's there in it, and that hadith is intermediate. So do you know what I mean? It's and that proper, like, you know, when I thought of today, what issues are we facing today? What issues are Mandem particularly facing today? You know, they're feeling like we're being marginalized by society, feeling like, you know, our role is dwindling, and it's almost like society wants to get rid of men. Maybe, you know, if we rush to take those responsibilities, then we'll see our own positions increase, elevated, rather than trying to hold on to what we have. What was the sort of, anyway. But I feel it's because of time.
Anything that we've said that's wrong is from ourselves and the shaitan, and it's free, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam are free of it. That was, I guess, part 2 of our, maybe we'll call it Seerah series.
I guess.
I will clip the first one, which is in our episode of Ridwan, and put that up before we put this one up. So obviously it can be in order. And then we'll link the first episode of the Seerah series in that video. So the Seerah that we're following of Ustadh AbdulRahman Hassan, we'll link it in that video, and then episode 2 will be linked in this one. So obviously, hopefully, inshallah, you can follow a journey with us, and I guess maybe watch this and then watch the episode, then watch this, so that it makes sense, basically. And then hopefully we can kind of go on a journey together.
There was another mad point as well that I even, but I guess it was linked to the next week. We can use it next time anyway. But yeah,
I guess it's not a replacement for Bites of Jollof. I guess it's kind of a substitute. But yeah, alhamdulillah. That
got to develop, man.
Huh?
Got to develop and keep them guessing in it.
Yeah. That has been an episode.
You might get a myth busting Mondays, out the blue. Every Monday I'm like, whoops. Yeah.
If you know what myth busting Mondays are, then
you're a real one.
You're a real one.
Yeah.
OG. But yeah, that's been episode 52. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Socials, JJ_pod on Twitter and Jollof After Jummah on the YouTube and the Instagram. And yeah, you know what to do, man. Like, subscribe, share with your peoples.
All of that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.